Reality has officially set in for the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be an uphill battle, and I don't know if it's one that they can win. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast platform. Man, reality set in. I alluded to it last week. It is here, and it is palpable, and it is not fun. And we're going to break through it together, and we're going to see what can come out on the other side. Drew Petzing gets a gig. It's going to be a fun 2026 for the blame game the entire year. I'll talk about that in the final segment. Klint, Kubiak, Joe Brady, their offenses are interesting as pertaining to being somewhat similar to Drew Petzing's. Not exactly the same. It's just something that needs to be addressed. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't be good calls if Klint Kubiak was head coach. The Cardinals are interviewing Joe Brady today, OC for the Bills. We'll see. Okay. But numbers don't lie. And for what everybody's been pining for the last 3 years, to have a similar dispersion of run pass, it's just interesting. Talk about that in the second segment. Reality's officially said it. The metaphor, kind of rudimentary metaphor I used last week was, hey, you know when people say, hey, it's going to be really windy this weekend. It's going to be really windy this weekend. Yeah, okay. I know it's going to be windy. Okay. It's going to be really windy this weekend. Okay. And then it gets to the weekend and you're like, man, it's really windy. Like it is whipping. It is really windy. It's like you're experiencing what you knew was going to be not so great of a situation. With the Cardinals, we were talking about, oh, this is going to be tough. This offseason is going to be tough. 3-14, don't know who the quarterback's going to be for the future. And the NFC West, other 3 teams won almost 40 games combined. It's going to be difficult. Plus, on top, you've got Michael Bidwell, who's, not one of the richer NFL owners. It's like, this is going to be uphill. This is going to be uphill. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It's like, yep, we know it's going to be difficult looking at this team, thinking about them getting their guy or anywhere even close to it. And now we're at the weekend. It's windy. Oh, man, it's really windy. Yeah, this is the rude awakening I was talking about last week. We all knew it was coming, but feeling it is different. Feeling it is different. Robert Saleh, late last night, for those who don't know, took the Tennessee Titans job. Mike McCarthy is a guy who is looking at Pittsburgh, and this is a situation where the Cardinals are going to be in dire straits here very soon. So it's just, we're in the thick of it, friends. We're in the thick of it. While I know Robert Saleh, I equated to the long shot for the gettable for the Cardinals. Obviously not talking about Tomlin or Harbaugh or whoever it is. Like, the big names are obviously going to go to other places. It's like Sean McDermott, I still think the Cardinals can get, and I'll talk about that in a sec, but like, it's really starting to feel like it's just going to be Vance Joseph. And while there's worse than Vance Joseph, but it's difficult to sell to a fan base. It's difficult to be like, hey, this is the guy who's going to usher in the next, several years of hopeful prosperity for this team. Be a stable force, whatever it may be, whatever you want to say. But the list of candidates is weak. On paper, weak. Outside of Sean McDermott, all of the coaches who have been hired so far, outside of Jeff Hafley was a head coach in college, so at least he has some head coach experience. I know it's not the NFL. But like with him, everybody else, they've all had head coaching experience. So I don't see anybody else going after first-time guys. Now, Jeff Hafley is a first-time guy, I guess you could say, going to Miami. Klint Kubiak and both the coordinators with the Rams are obviously still in contention for the Super Bowl this year, so they're not actively taking jobs. I just felt, I woke up this morning and after, it happened, 10 o'clock last night, Arizona time with Saleh. It's like, They're being just used as a pawn again. They're being used as a pawn again. How can you sell the NFC West 3-14 and no head coach no quarterback for the future? How can you sell that? Even if Michael Bidwell was Jerry Jones with all the money and all the land, how can you sell that? Who can you sell that to? Sure, you can sell the roster, 3rd overall pick, money to spend, good bones. But does everything else significantly outweigh some positives that the Cardinals have? And some may look at this roster and say, nah, there's no positives on this roster. Outside of Trey McBride. I'm not that far. I'm not doomsday here. It's just the stark reality that we are entering the storm. We're entering the bad. We thought it was. We know it's coming, and now we're here, actually experiencing it. Watching guys just overlook the Cardinals, not even give them interviews, not even things like that. So, looking at Joe Brady, you can be looking at Klint Kubiak potentially. Sean McDermott, like, the only selling point for the Cardinals, and Sean McDermott should not, in my opinion, should not have been Brandon together a roster that Superman Josh, and obviously had some pieces, but it wasn't all world. You could sell it as it's the only opportunity outside of the AFC. It's warm here. The pressure is significantly less to make the playoffs or you'll lose your job, or win a playoff game or you'll lose your job. The locker room culture is stable enough here. It's not like he's going, into some, completely dysfunctional, everybody hates everybody kind of thing. Lawlessness or whatever. It's just very tough to witness, slowly and surely, what the Arizona Cardinals' plight and journey to find the next head coach is going to be, especially with who they'll have to choose from when the time comes and who's going to want to come coach here. It's not going to be pretty. Maybe you'll be surprised. As we talk about this a lot, like there's going to be a couple guys from this cycle who have never coached before who are going to pop. There's going to be a couple. And the Cardinals can be pleasantly surprised. I'm just unsure if it's going to be anybody but Van Joseph at this point. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Klint Kubiak, Joe Brady. They have an interesting offensive scheme, although I know that they adjust to their personnel. Their bones are a better version of what we witnessed with Drew Petzing. Is that something that's sellable to a fan base that has wanted Petzing gone for the last 2 years? We'll discuss it next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by ZocDoc. So finding a doctor is tough, man. Finding a doctor where you can get an appointment in 24 to 48 hours is even tougher. Like, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. You want someone in your network nearby with availability, but you also want a doctor who really listens, makes you feel comfortable, explains things clearly, and helps you walk out feeling confident about your next step. Your diamond in the rough doctor does exist, and finding them is easy with ZocDoc. ZocDoc's a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can choose someone you truly connect with. I love that you can search from specialty or symptoms and quickly find the right fit. You can get appointments between 24 to 72 hours, and they even have same-day openings at times. If I need to book something fast, this is the first place I'd go. It just makes the process super simple. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNFL. Thanks to ZocDoc for sponsoring this message. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by Ultimate QB Football Legend. Draft orders set. Bunch of teams are looking for their franchise QB. You ever wish about being a pro quarterback, getting drafted first overall by the Arizona Cardinals? Well, now you can. There's a mobile game just for you called Ultimate QB Football Legend. This game, step into the cleats of a number one draft pick quarterback. It's your job to lead your team to greatness, to help turning a failing franchise into a dynasty. It's a number one QB career mode game on mobile app stores. It introduces the most realistic environment with full career mode. You sign contracts, train to upgrade yourself. You can play the actual games in 2D and rise through the ranks to become a pro football legend. You'll deal with all the ups and downs of a football career, from rookie nerves to playoff drama and every choice that shapes your journey. Ultimate QB is totally free to play, has no ads, and works 100% offline. Perfect for when you want to sneak in a quick game or two on the go. So just head over to ultimate-qb.com. That's ultimate-qb.com. Or search for Ultimate QB in your app store. We've got something special just for you guys. Use the promo code LOCKEDON in all caps in the game store to get a free boost at the start of your career. Ultimate QB Football Legend. QB1, it's your legacy. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. You know the drill. It's messy, but I'm going to be here with you all along the way. Every single damn day, you're going to see my big dumb face. Join the Everydayers Club. Link is in the description. Ad-free content, ad-free audio podcasts, the members-only Discord. There's going to be so much more content in there through this offseason. Like, we're stepping it up here, Locked On in 2026. Going into my 10th season hosting the show is absolutely insane. Now, this isn't perfect, okay? This is just an umbrella under which there's some information and people can do with it as they wish. Okay. I alluded to this a little bit yesterday. I said this was going to be an entire offensive show today, and then Robert Saleh gets hired. I'm going to stop promising what the next day is going to be during this coaching cycle, because anytime I do it, something changes between then and the next time I record. These are just things that are true. Okay. These are just things that are true. What were the biggest pushback about Drew Petzing's offense while he was here? If they can't run the ball, things don't work. Now, Jacoby Brissett made wonders, even though they didn't win any games down the stretch, by throwing the ball 75 times a game. And there's only room for one alpha wide receiver. That's pretty much what it is. So let's take 2 years ago when people were healthy. Trey McBride, 100 catches, 1,000 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Marv had, whatever it was, 800 or 900 yards receiving. He had a bunch of touchdowns. Michael Wilson was an afterthought. Greg Dortch, even more so, until they were out of playoff contention. Okay. And then they were able to run the ball pretty effectively with James Conner and Trey Benson as his backup dancer. Okay. That's what it was at its peak 2 years ago. Then, when Marv and Michael Wilson were on the field at the same time this year, they were splitting wide receiver one touches. Obviously, Trey McBride was getting fed. And I understand that I've pushed back on, but all these numbers are ballooned because of garbage time. Yes, some of it was garbage time numbers, obviously. Okay. But, and this is also predicated on quarterback, skill set, things like that. I understand that. But much maligned was Drew Petzing's offense. I think we can all agree that most people thought that. Klint Kubiak had one stud wide receiver in the offense, and they ran the ball a ton. Okay? So, they won a lot of games. JSN, midway to 3/4 of the way through the season, was the offensive, player of the year. I think Puka's going to take it because he finished strong. Maybe Bijan, who knows? But they ran the ball top 5 in the NFL, threw the ball bottom 5. I understand that when they're winning, you're going to run the ball more. Sure. This also isn't like they were blowing teams out by 30 every week. They run the ball in that offense with the two running backs that they had in Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. They run the ball. It's predicated on play action. Sam Darnold throws a beautiful deep ball, and JSN reaped the rewards. Name another wide receiver of impact on that team who was impactful the entire year. The rookie Horton AJ Barner, who I think made the Pro Bowl or got a vote, I think because he was looked at as like the best blocking tight end in football. That has nothing to do with scheme, offensive scheme. It does, but he was a glorified offensive lineman a lot of times. He scored a couple push touchdowns. That wide receiver room was one guy and a bunch of rush attacks. Yes, they won a lot of games, and yes, it worked with the personnel that they had. So maybe he leaned into what he knew and just fed it. Great, it worked. This is not me poo-pooing a team who is the 1 seed, who's 1 game away from going to the Super Bowl. That's not what this exercise is. It's just showing this is a better version of Drew Petzing's offense that everybody didn't like. And maybe it was Kyler Murray who didn't run it perfectly. Maybe it was Jacoby Brissett with no run game who didn't run it perfectly. Maybe all of these things are true. I'm just stating what happened. Joe Brady, they looked great for the first 2.5 months. The offense struggled at times. Number 1 rush attack team this year by average. Over 150 yards. Now, you could say this is personnel, which I would 100% agree. Didn't have a number 1 wide receiver all year. I mean, Khalil Shakir, I guess, but he's on the smaller side. He's wildly talented. But they've always kind of been a Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid, and a wide receiver kind of thing. Brandon Cooks was good for them down the stretch in spots. And I know Joe Brady coached the Joe Burrow national championship team where he threw the ball the whole time. I could have coached that team. That was an NFL team. You want to know what an NFL team against a college team looked like? That. Now, this isn't taking anything away from the talent of these guys. All I'm stating is factual information. Every situation's different, of course. Every situation's different. Personnel's different for every team. You've got to adapt and adjust. Good coaches do. So obviously, a lot of Joe Brady's offense is go get it. Go get it, Josh. Go ahead. Figure it out. In so many words. James Cook was a top rusher 2 years ago. He had a bunch of yards this year, a bunch of touchdowns. I'm not saying Klint Kubiak would be a bad hire. What I'm saying is his offense is eerily similar, has similar roots to Drew Petzing's. That's all. By sheer numbers. That's all. So for those that want to spread it out and get the receivers involved, including Michael Wilson, those are just numbers that I found interesting. That's it. I'm not making a case one way or the other. I'm saying that where Klint Kubiak went, he had one guy who ate. And okay, if it works and you win, great. Maybe I'm just scarred by the fact that the Cardinals haven't been able to adjust forever. And once their game plan's figured out, they can't pivot. Maybe you bring in Klint Kubiak if the Cardinals are, at this point, lucky enough to hire him. And he'll be able to spread his wings and get everybody involved. That'd be fantastic. He's not going to have 2 running backs, at least on the roster right now, you would think, that are going to be at the level of Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, unless he wants to bring Kenneth Walker with him, which is an interesting wrinkle. Put him and Trey Benson together in the backfield. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying Klint Kubiak, bottom 5 pass attempts, top 5 rush attempts, eerily similar to Drew Petzing when everybody's healthy and you actually have a run game and not 2, running backs that are on IR since week 5. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Drew Petzing does get a job. He goes to Detroit. This is going to be the funniest discourse one way or the other. And just need to talk for a few minutes about it. Let's do it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode, man. Every game during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. So every game day, you open the app, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to bets you like the most. The coolest part about this is it's not only a certain type of wager. It's not only a certain type of thing. It's not just single game. It's not just, live betting or futures or whatever it is. The boosts give you more juice in the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. You make your picks, then apply your profit boost for even a bigger payout while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Just to put a button on the Kubiak and Brady thing, I just thought it was fascinating. That's it. I think at this point, I don't even know what I think anymore. Leave a like on this. I want, for everybody who is confused about who you think the next quarterback's going to be, the next head coach is going to be, leave a like on this. I just want to see something. Or if you're resigned to your fate, leave a comment that you think it's going to be Vance Joseph. And again, Vance Joseph is not a bad coordinator. He had a little success as a head coach. He's a super smart dude. He's been in the league a long time. It could be far worse. I just don't know. And that is going to be massive on who the OC is going to be. And who does he have in his circle that he could bring with him? I don't know. Drew Petzing, offensive coordinator, Detroit Lions. The second I tweet out, it's weird that we haven't heard anything about Nick Rawls and Drew Petzing. The second, not 20 minutes later, Drew Petzing to Detroit. I'm nervous for Amon-Ra St. Brown on my Dynasty fantasy football team. I think that David Montgomery just got a new lease on life because he wanted out. Kind of. They just leaned into Jahmyr Gibbs. Sam Laporta is going to have a career year. It's going to be, you wish him the best, obviously. I thought that at the end of last season, it's you could make the argument everybody was hurt, you could bring everybody back. It's not the best argument, but rationally speaking, if you're blaming it on injuries, it strengthens the argument to bring him back because everybody was hurt. I'm surprised that Drew Petzing got this high profile of an OC job. He is well respected around the league. I was reading a lot of tweets yesterday, a lot of comments, a lot of tweets from people that I respect, higher level people that are he's well respected around the league. He was in Minnesota for years. People in Minnesota loved him. They loved him. Cleveland, nothing bad to say about him. So it'll be interesting. This is either going to be the biggest, especially in this 24/7 news cycle where everybody is just arguing with each other all the damn time on social media, all the time. It's so fresh. If Detroit has the best offense in football next year, that is going to be just a gut punch to the Arizona Cardinals organization. Just an absolute nightmare to Kyler Murray, to Jonathan Gannon, to Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell. It's going to be oh no. And then he gets a head coaching job and he goes on to be it's just now, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. It was an experience and you wish him well and good luck in the next cycle. I'm happy that it's a high profile gig first for him. I think that, they've got a lot of talent out there. They got a lot of talent on offense. A lot of talent with J-Mo and Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta in the two backs. They've got a lot. Isaac Tesla is a deep fantasy sleeper darling in the dynasty world. I'm happy it's a high profile gig because we're going to know. If he went, I don't know, say he went back to Cleveland or went to some bad team, I don't know, whatever it is. It's well, how much can you really show with that kind of talent? They got the talent, baby. They've got the talent in Motor City. So it's going to be very polarizing. It's going to be one or the other. And I'm kind of terrified. I'm kind of terrified that they're just going to be a top 5 offense next year. And then everybody from the desk is no. don't do it. It's just like another thing you're going to kind of side eye for the entire year. Like, how many points did Detroit put up? 30? Yikes. No, you wish him well. I was kind of surprised that he got that kind of gig, but he's well respected around the league. They've got a great ecosystem there, and I'm sure he'll do just fine. Yeah, Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Remember, without you, there is no me. It's a fluid situation. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about more tomorrow. Cardinal Squad Show tonight, 4 o'clock, or today, 4 o'clock Arizona time. Talk to you then.